Greetings, cinephiles. Are you looking for a movie analysis podcast that stands above the rest? Then look no further than Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters.
We analyze good movies, we analyze bad movies, and yes, we also analyze the in-betweens of the world of cinema.
So if you like what you hear, find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts.
And yes, my friends, we are 420 friendly. So when you listen to us, smoke it if you've got it. And now, here's a new episode of Collateral Gaming. The show starts right now.
I'm Megan Gomez.
And I'm Ashley Chancellor. And this is Collateral Gaming. I solemnly swear I'm up to no good.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Collateral Gaming, the only video game podcast that matters, where we review good games, bad games, and everything in between. We are back for another fun-filled episode, and back for a little bit of, shall we say, magic. I am Megan Gomez, and...
I'm Ashley Chancellor. Yes, my friends, we are a 420 friendly podcast, so whatever you have, smoke it if you've got it. Yeah, this is going to be a great episode. I know, Megan, you've been waiting for this for a while.
Yes. I am so freaking excited. It's unreal.
I know. And I'm excited too, because I was ultimately excited about this game. I just, for whatever reason, I really didn't get into it. I really didn't start digging into it until now, and I'm happy I did. That, of course, is Hogwarts Legacy, which we'll get into here in a little bit. Since we haven't really had the opportunity to talk about it yet, though, and I'm not sure if we're going to get that episode out, I did want to go ahead and go over some recent news.
Yeah, just a little bit of news.
Right?
That's fine.
Because the Switch 2 was officially announced, and we have a release date, we have a price. So that is going to be June 5th. The console itself is going to be $450 or $500 for the bundle with Mario Kart World. Oh my God, a Nintendo console with 1080p 120 frames per second or 4K 60? What? That is insane.
That's why for a fucking Nintendo console. Like, can we just I know that the games are older, but could you imagine what Breath of the Wild is gonna look like on that? Or fucking Twilight Princess? Because it's coming out on the Switch too?
Yeah, because whatchamacallit, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom have been announced as games that are going to receive a Nintendo Switch 2 edition. So they are going to get that upgrade. We're going to get to play those games in 60 frames or more. Boy, oh boy. Metroid Prime 4 is another one of those titles. No release date on that yet, but we do know that it's coming out for both Switch and Switch 2, and the Switch 2 version is going to be able to hit either 60 frames or 120 frames. So I am ecstatic. And if Metroid Prime 4 is a launch title or comes out before launch, we're definitely going to cover it this season. Here's the plan for the season finale. If Metroid Prime 4 is actually a launch title, then we're going to do that. 2-part episode.
Right.
If not, then my plan was we were going to kind of do a 2-part episode. It's going to be a 2-part episode either way, but I didn't want to do 2 parts on Mario Kart. I didn't feel like there was really going to be enough to talk about there. So I was thinking part 1 would be our Mario Kart World episode, and part 2 we just kind of go over the console itself and the lineup. Regardless, we'll probably do an episode like that anyway. If nothing else is like a bonus game launch episode or something where we kind of just go over the console and the lineup. So.
Right, yeah. Well, also, I'm thinking because they're saying that it's going to be Switch and Switch 2, I know that, they're not going to do the full PlayStation thing where PlayStation kind of had a run of both the PS4 and PS5 games until people were able to transition, especially because it was COVID. We're post-COVID now, so I'm thinking that it's probably going to be sometime later this year. I think they're going to surprise drop it, though.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they? They're fucking Nintendo.
Right. So we'll see. They also did finally announce a GameCube emulator on the Switch, specifically on the Switch 2 for Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack members. And one of the games that was announced was the Wind Waker. I'm a little disappointed though, because they should just go ahead and port over the Wii U version of the game, because that's the definitive version. Going back and playing the GameCube one is going to feel like a downgrade, but nonetheless, I'm excited to see GameCube games on the Switch, and I'm excited to see Zelda as part of that lineup. Let's hope that Twilight Princess is in the works too. Four Swords Adventures, that would be a great game to add to the GameCube library.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would love that. I mean, I would love to just see us to be able to play all of the Zeldas on one console. I know that it takes time, but like, I feel like especially for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, which were
Yeah.
such big titular moments for the Nintendo franchise, like they deserve their grace. Like, yes, Breath of the Wild is amazing. Yes, Tears of the Kingdom is incredible, but like a lot of us grew up playing what started with was like, especially for like our generation per se, was Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. So like, why are we not bringing that over? Also, why have we? I'm hoping for like a complete remaster of Ocarina of Time at some point, like a complete just overhaul into like a new engine and everything.
Yeah, I'm thinking so as well. I think it's about time. We got Ocarina of Time 3D back, several years ago during the 3DS era. And for a while, I was like, yeah, just port that version, maybe upscale it. But honestly, at this point, and seeing what fans have managed to do with like the Unreal Engine and stuff, I think it would be a good idea for Nintendo just to go ahead and do a whole new remake and just overhaul the thing from the ground up, modernize the controls and everything.
Right.
And of course, leave the original Nintendo 64 version in available to players. So yeah, we'll see. The possibilities are endless now. Let's hope that we get a GameCube emulator soon on the Nintendo Switch 2. That would be awesome. Or sorry, not GameCube. That's what we are getting, a DS emulator. And
That would be fun.
right? Because the Wii U had some DS games, so we need to get DS on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm really excited. It looks like the reception here has been mixed. Some people feel that the console is overpriced, or that, I remember all the naysayers, as soon as the thing was teased, they were like, oh, it's exactly the same thing as the Switch. How do you know that? You haven't seen the specs. Well, they've released the specs yet, and to the haters, I say, ha! Because most games on the base PS5 and Xbox Series X don't even do 4K 60 or 1080p 120.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Those consoles are capable of doing it, but the majority of games cannot do that. So to hear that the Switch 2 is targeting that is good news indeed. To hear of at least one confirmed title that is going to hit those frame rates and resolutions, I mean, yeah, I think it's well worth the price. $450 is a good bargain for that. Yeah, I mean, it's a disappointment that we haven't been able to pre-order the thing yet, because I was there. I was going to pre-order it day one, but as soon as it's available, I am ready. My body is ready. I am one of the pro Switch 2 enthusiasts. I'm one of the Nintendo fanboys. Call me what you will. This is exactly what I wanted. Actually, this is more than what I wanted, more than what I expected. So I'm there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, plus, I mean, if you think about it, like buying like a graphics card or anything like that for like a PC is going to cost roughly as much as doing the same thing of buying a Nintendo Switch 2, which I know that there's, different analytics and things like that when it comes to everything regarding, putting together a Switch console, but still, like you're having that much metrics in a Switch console, which is insane. Because again, that's only for like the entire console. That's not just for one piece. I will say the only thing I am a little bit disappointed about, just because like we are in a recession right now, is the fact that the games are going to be so expensive.
Okay, so
I'm a little disappointed by that.
One game they've announced, which is going to be $80, and yeah, I hate that too. Actually, I think that's terrible, because even having the one game be $80 now sets a precedent. And so other developers or publishers are probably going to start releasing some of their bigger games. I don't think that's the standard price for Switch 2 games. I think that's just the price for games like Mario Kart World that are very massive. And from what I hear, and from what I've seen, it looks like it's going to be like an open world Mario Kart. So I can kind of see if it provides the same value as Mario Kart 8 and Deluxe did, and continuing to serve the console, for I don't know, over 10 years, then yeah, the $80 is a great value for that. But yeah, let's just hope that that's the price of the heavier games. I'll pay it, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like you. I'm like, yeah, I defended the $70 thing because it was like, okay, games were $60 forever. And they only just increased by $10 now, and games are so much more massive than they used to be. I'm one of those guys that was like, yeah, no, $70, I get it. It's fair, considering the amount of content that's packed into games. But to see just a few years later that increase again, that is worrying. That's where I'm kind of with you guys, and I'm like, okay, let's slow down
Yeah.
here. Also, the fact
Yeah.
that the welcome tour game, which is kind of a game and kind of a demo, isn't packaged with it, but Nintendo is asking for that as for a separate price. I'm not happy about that either. I'm
That's
like,
fucked.
right,
Yeah.
like that should have been packaged with the console. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, no, I think that as these developers know that like we're all going to buy things no matter what, they're starting to like take advantage of that and take advantage of the people who have like cult followings to their products. And it's sad. Like people that play COD, they're going to buy the same COD every year until they give up and they're done. People that play, games where you're free to play, but you have paywalls. People are going to pay for those fucking paywalls every damn time, and they take advantage of that and they utilize that. And sometimes it does give people an advantage over the people that can't quite afford it at the moment, and it sucks.
yeah.
Like in the first Descendant, I love the first Descendant, but like paying $20 for a skin or a fucking Descendant, I like every month, like I can't do that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and unfortunately, we're contributing to it. We're not, we're speaking with our wallets and we're telling them, yes, charge us, daddy.
Yeah, no, for reals though.
I'm guilty of that. I am guilty of that because I'm going to be a day one Switch adopter. I'm on a podcast. I have to. But I mean,
Right.
I will say there's a time when to put your foot down, and that time will come, like I said, if it starts getting to the point where games, well, unfortunately, I'm kind of in a hard spot because, like I said, podcaster, but we'll see.
Right.
We'll see what the future holds. That being said, with a couple of those gripes aside, more just slippery slope kind of things, I am happy with the announcement, the release. I wanted to do a full episode on it, but I haven't been able to get with Zach to do that yet. Unfortunately, he's going through some very personal things right now. So, yeah, that's...
Don't know when we'll see him next, but just send him all of your love and send all the hugs and everything like that to him.
Yeah, man. But yeah, one of the games that actually was specifically announced for Nintendo Switch 2 was Hogwarts Legacy, and that's what we're talking about today, right?
Yes. So excited.
Yeah. Well, Megan, this is your game, so go ahead and take it away from here. Let me know, your overall impressions of Hogwarts Legacy. What drew you to this game, and what makes you so excited for it?
Yeah, so I've been a fan of the Harry Potter series since I was a kid. And now I'm not so much like I enjoy a lot of things, but like the way that J.K. Rowling has been to some people, I just don't really personally get along with anymore. I'm all about spreading love and kindness no matter who you are, and I feel that like, the better you are, the better you're going to move forward and like living your life with an exuding amount of love. Like sometimes it bites you in the ass, but a lot of the time, like the best thing you can do is be a nice person because it's fucking free, right? Like I don't understand that. So I'm going to start that off with that because I know there is a lot of like stuff out there about like playing the game in general just because of J.K. Rowling, and I get that. But also like as a fan of the series of books, of movies, of all the games that we played on the DS and shit as a kid, it was really exciting to be able to like jump into like, oh my god, I'm gonna be a fucking student at Hogwarts. Like, how sick is this? I get to see Thestrals, I get to see hippogriffs, I get to freaking see mandrakes. Like, you're gonna be a student at Hogwarts. That's so cool for somebody who has like a very imaginative imagination, of course, and somebody that really likes to have like that deep connection with a series that they have, or like a parasocial relationship, especially like Tom Felton. Like Tom Felton was playing the fucking game.
Yeah.
How sick is that? That's so cool.
That is so cool.
And for me personally, I'm the type of person that I love like immersion gaming. So I love just getting absolutely lost in a world. Like I know that every fucking episode I bring up Skyrim. I'm not sorry. I'm a Skyrim girly for life. Sorry about it. I'm not sorry. Like, I love the escapism and the absolute just immersion in Skyrim and games like that and games of that nature. Like Jedi Survivor is a great example of that. You really jump into the Star Wars universe, and this is kind of something that's in the same vein. We started out with one or two contexts, and now we're bringing it into this big titular franchise that now is getting a sequel. I'm so excited for that. But yeah, I got the game shortly after launch, and I just remembered falling in love with it. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I went through it, played it through Christmas, and then I got to the I don't want to spoil it too much, but to the change of the season where it turns into all the Christmas trees and everything, like Christmas Day. So that was so cool to have that experience, and it just felt like a very magical Christmas for me. And I had a London fog to go along with it because why would I not? And it was just great. And I was thinking about it and thinking about the season, and I was like, we've done some really big heavy hitters, but this time I want to do something that's a little bit off the beaten path. It's still a big game, and I see a lot of TikTokers playing it actually right now. But yeah, I wanted to go into it, wanted to go into that kind of stuff, and I know kind of we talked a little bit about like Hogwarts and Harry Potter and stuff whenever we were in high school, Ash. So I was
Yeah.
like, let's tie this in a little bit. Like you're like, I'm not allowed to watch that. They say that wizards and witches and crap. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh no, that wasn't me. No. My
Yeah,
mom.
I know there's a lot of people like that at church, though.
There are. No, I actually had a cousin like that. No, my mom was reading Harry Potter with me on release night.
Yeah.
When we were there for the midnight releases of books 6 and 7, we were there for every midnight release of the movies from like Goblet of Fire on. Yeah, my mom was right there. She finished Deathly Hallows before I did. She read through it in a single night. She said it took her 14 hours, I think, to get through the whole thing. Yeah. She just stayed up and read the entire book. So, yeah, I am a Harry Potter fanatic. And unfortunately, J.K. Rowling is making it harder and harder and harder for me to want to be that, because I do still love this world and these characters and this whole universe that she's created, and credit where credit is due. I mean, she has a brilliant mind that she's put to work in creating this whole thing. It's just, I hate to see that creativity used in ways that hurt other people. And I hate to hear that there's this hatred in her heart for people when, so many of those fans, or so many of those people were fans of her books and her franchise and her world. But the good thing is that she had very little to no involvement whatsoever with Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
That's what the developer said, is that she had no involvement in this. In fact, they even have a trans character in the game, and she's awesome. She kicks ass, and
she's so cool.
She is. And like, all the respect where respect is due. Yes, okay. Does J.K. Rowling benefit from the sales of this game? Yeah, unfortunately so. But you know what, guys?
Yeah, it's her universe.
In a system where ethical consumption does not exist, I'm simply drawing a line, and I'm saying, you know what? Let me have my wizard game that I've been waiting, fucking, I don't know, like 20 fucking years for, okay? Because this is hands down the best Harry Potter game they have ever put out. And I'm someone who has played
oh my god, yes,
every Harry Potter game. Like, I was there. I remember being really, really excited for Goblet of Fire to come out because the movie was coming out, the game was coming out. I loved the first 3 games. They were kind of Zelda-esque. And you could pause the menu and equip spells like items and use them to solve puzzles. And, and then Goblet of Fire was kind of a disappointment for me. It was a very action-focused game that barely took place in Hogwarts even, and didn't let you free roam the school like the first 3 did. And then Order of the Phoenix went in the other direction and let you completely, fully explore Hogwarts. A movie accurate version of Hogwarts. There's a ton of attention to detail, but it suffered for being kind of boring and not having a whole lot of action. And then Half-Blood Prince was just kind of a watered down version of Order of the Phoenix, and also was kind of boring. And then the 2 Deathly Hallows games were just third-person shooters for some reason. So that
yeah, they really were, though.
I would love to do a retrospective sometime on the Harry Potter games, because I've played through all of them, or I've at least played a little bit of them. The handheld games were fun too. Those were like RPGs, and the PC games were cool too. They were just kind of like discount versions of the console games. But I played a lot of those growing up because I was a Harry Potter fanatic. Like I said, I was there for the midnight releases of the books. I have my fucking picture in the Herald newspaper and some radio station because I was there at the midnight party for Deathly Hallows. I think it was Deathly Hallows, and I was dressed up, so they took a picture of me and put me in the paper.
I love that. That's so cool.
But as far as Hogwarts Legacy is concerned, like I said, hands down, this is the best that has come from the Wizarding World franchise. Like, wow, what a way to make players actually feel like they are a fifth-year student entering Hogwarts. Give them the freedom to learn different types of spells, like to use the unforgivable curses, become a dark wizard with no consequences. And you get to have your own, you get sorted into the Hogwarts house and you get your own wand, and man, the combat is so fun, and I'm enjoying this game a lot more than I thought I would. I remember I was really excited about this. And I got it like you shortly after launch. I think I didn't have a PS5 at the time, but as soon as I got a PS5, I went ahead and got this game because I thought we might talk about it. And I remember playing a little bit of it, but I just didn't get that far into it. I think I was more into other things at the time, and just all the J.K. Rowling stuff that was going on kind of left a bitter taste in my mouth, and I just never really came back to it until recently because you suggested we were going to do it. And I've actually been throwing a lot of hours into this game. I've been having fun just kind of creating my own I'm going down the Dark Wizard path. I'm learning all the unforgivable curses.
Oh, okay.
I'm extorting all the students for the best rewards every time I complete a quest. I'm just going full villain with it.
Oh, damn.
I mean, I got sorted into Slytherin.
You're going full Slytherin.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which is funny because in Pottermore, I was sorted into Gryffindor, but I was sorted into Slytherin this time. Yeah.
In Pottermore, I was sorted to Ravenclaw, and in Hogwarts, I was sorted to Ravenclaw.
Everybody thought I was going to be Ravenclaw, and I think I was like Gryffindor dominant, like Ravenclaw second. But this time, for whatever reason, I got Slytherin. And
oh, bro, you're def a Gryffindor. For sure, you're a Gryffindor through and through.
Well, and I'm thinking back now, I wasn't playing as me. Like the character I'm role playing in my main playthrough is a witch, and I'm going for the full evil route. So that might have influenced my answers. I can't quite remember.
You're going like full Astoria Greengrass or something over here.
Yeah, exactly. But man, yeah, just going into my overall thoughts, I'm really having a blast with this game, and the amount of creativity. I mean, as an open world action RPG, it's serviceable. It's pretty good. It's fun. You keep on wanting to play.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I feel like it's for me, and this may be controversial of me to say, but I feel like it's one of the more expanded games about magic in a capacity where it is like in the Hogwarts, like Harry Potter universe, but it also has like its own meld of like a concept of like magic while still feeling true to being like a Harry Potter-esque game. And yeah, I feel like there's so many elements about the game that I enjoy. I do wish that we had a little bit more classes. I wish that it wasn't as much exploring out of the castle. While I find that fun, I just wanted a little bit more student-like experience. Just because like that's really what I wanted to play the game to do. You know, I wanted to be a fucking student. I know that you can't do classes the entire time. I get that. You know, there does need to be an action and a big evil and all of that stuff. I get that. I understand that. Totally cool with that. Totally love the game the way it sits. My only gripe is I just wish we had a little bit more class time, because as you're getting closer to end game, you have less class time, and I feel like you should be preparing for your owls more. You should be preparing for other things more. Like you should be doing more things of that aspect instead of just like, oh yeah, well fuck you guys, I'm gonna be up here on this coast fucking up some goblins. Like what the
yeah.
Okay.
It does feel like the game almost gives you too much creativity sometimes, because like you said, there's like no consequences for anything. You can go and use magic in the halls between classes. You can go out and explore the Scottish Highlands and use magic and cast unforgivable curses, and nobody seems to give a fuck. But I guess
nobody cares.
In a sense, they kind of had to give you some of that freedom. But I guess there's a part of me that does wish there were more consequences. You know, beyond just characters talking shit about you, but more like you could kind of have almost kind of a Grand Theft Auto aspect to it, where like if you cause too much danger and you start raising flags and using too many unforgivable curses, like a pack of Aurors might come after you at some point. I don't know, ideas for the sequel.
Yeah Yeah, no, for sure.
right? Like you could have like some wizards have to come after you every once in a while if you're breaking too many rules, and you'd have to fight them off. And if you get super powerful, they're not going to be a huge challenge for you, but at least it's like an additional element, and it feels like there's some consequences to your actions. So that's something I hope that they could introduce in the sequel, especially if they let you fully embrace the dark arts.
Yeah, especially because like in the portions where you're like sneaking away from the head boy and head girl and all the like prefects and everything, like it there is no real consequence except for during the quest where you have to sneak. Like I wish there was a little bit more of like a curfew. I also wish that we saw more than just fifth year students. I know that we're in the fifth year, but I would love to see like a first year like getting all scared because of something that happened, because like fifth years are going to be used to what happens at the school and we're the new kid on campus. So like I want to see the first years scared out of their fucking minds. I want to see the seventh and eighth years, getting ready for graduation and things like that. Like I wanted a little bit more versatility of that. I know that there's only so much you can do with the game, but everybody being a fifth year is kind of like, okay, like all right, I guess so,
I remember
whatever.
there's one quest with a younger student who you get her gobstones from for her.
The gobstones, yeah,
Zenobia,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I think she was either a first year or younger than you. But yeah, it seems like most of the students you interact with are the fifth years of each respective house. And I guess it's natural too that they want to throw as many encounters with those characters as possible so that you get to interact with all of them regardless of which house you choose.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, hoping if the sequel uh, goes along and continues the path of this character, we could go into our sixth year. Like I think it would be really cool if you could just like import your character you save from this game into Hogwarts Legacy 2 and just continue as a sixth year and learn even more spells. Like, hey, let's throw the Patronus charm in there. That's something that was
Yeah.
absent from this game that a lot of players would love to see, because you would get your own Patronus. And for some people, they might think, oh, well, maybe that's a spell that's not going to get too much utility, because it's only really effective against Dementors. But what if we had a plot that kind of focused on Dementors, and so they would be a common enemy or Dementor-like enemies, or give it a few more utilities outside of combat? They could do something with the puzzles. I mean, you could use the Patronus charm as a light source that was more powerful and could travel with you while you were casting spells on like Lumos.
Yeah, no, I feel like it would be something that would be cool like that, or even just like, 'cause, in Defense Against the Dark Arts, there's the where you're using your Patronus char, or no, yeah, you're using your Patronus, right? Defense Against the Dark Arts
And
in year 7.
So I don't know if I don't think they teach the Patronus charm at Hogwarts. It's something that was actually not very well known. I know all the members of the Order of the Phoenix know it, but it's an
Yeah,
advanced spell that, and also everybody that Harry taught in year 5 knows it now. But it's actually a
yeah, it
spell
was
that
his 5th year. Yeah,
it was his third year that he learned the Patronus charm in Prisoner of
yeah, but he
Azkaban.
taught everybody 5th year.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it would just be cool if they could find a way to throw that one in, like maybe your character actually, comes into contact with somebody who knows the Patronus charm and they teach it in order to, defend against Dementors. And if it, find a way to like, heavily involve them in the plot of the next game. But that was just an idea I had for one spell that I felt was missing from the game. And there's still room for them to add even more spells. I mean, but the repertoire that we've got in this game is pretty impressive. I try to
yeah,
use all of them as much as I can. Of course, I'm actually building
same.
my spell sets right now. Like one of the first skills that I upgraded in the skill tree, or talents, I think that is what they call them, was actually upgrading all of my spell slots. So I have 4. And so I have a couple that are focused for combat scenarios, and then one where I'm going to be put all my dark art spells, and then the other one is for just like exploration and utility.
Yeah, I have like 1.5 for puzzles, 1.5 for combat, and then like 1.5 for combat to dark arts. So it like transitions throughout the entire thing. So it's
Nice.
like I can just click down and it's like a list, kind of. But my dark arts is at the bottom. Um, but yeah, no, I definitely feel like there's a lot of things that could be added, and I know they're kind of still exploring a lot about what the Harry Potter universe is like. And I know, we had Fantastic Beasts and we had, a couple other, big things of that nature where they're starting to expand more. So there's a lot of directions that they could go with this because Harry Potter, that's in the 90s. We can go back in time, we can go a little bit closer to where Harry Potter is born, what the school was like before Harry showed up.
Yeah.
What it's like transitioning into Harry's first year, but I also know we're getting they're saying that this game is maybe supposed to coincide the sequel with the show that's coming out. I don't know how much truth there is to that. But I would be interested to see other perspectives.
True, yeah. And that was the thing, is that rather than being a direct sequel with this character, what they could do is just set this in another era entirely. So, and I'm here for that too. I mean, let's start with the clean slate and just feature a different character in a different era. Because it was really cool to kind of go back and play Hogwarts in a completely different time period and meet the ancestors of some characters you'll meet. Because, I mean, you've got the headmaster, who is one of the ancestors of Sirius Black.
Yeah. And then Professor Weasley.
Professor Weasley, of course, who's the deputy headmistress. I got to tell you, Professor Garlick, man.
Oh, dude. So
I'd Professor her garlic.
yeah, no kidding. I would garnish her with garlic. Haha. So I got a cloak from the fall Ren Fair that is it's a black cloak with green on it, and a lot of people would assume that it's kind of like Slytherin like, but it's got like vines. So next time I go to a Ren Fair, I'm going to go full Professor Garlic and do like a Professor of Herbology type look with it. I'm so freaking excited. Because like I love Hogwarts, and there's a whole dedicated day at the Georgia Ren Fair where they do Harry Potter and like wizards and witches, which I think is just so fucking cool. Yeah, love that. A little bit of a sidetrack there, but I had to shout that out, especially because Georgia Ren Fair started today. So kind of sad that I'm not there for opening weekend, but it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. We're buying a house, so it's either buy a house or go drink mead. I have to be a responsible fucking adult.
True.
Fuck you.
True. I feel that.
Speaking of being irresponsible, back to Hogwarts.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I just enjoy how much that this game gives you to do, and as a game, like as an open world action RPG, I mean, yeah, there are some better ones, but this one is pretty good, and I think the real, the real lure here is for fans of the franchise. It's the opportunity, it's the role-playing aspect of it, right? It's like the opportunity to be a Hogwarts student, create your own character, and attend classes at Hogwarts and get into trouble, go into the Forbidden Forest, and have the opportunity to learn unforgivable curses and make different decisions. It's funny is there are some aspects of the game that I know that are there solely for the role-playing aspect, like the for instance, they give you as an option for a flying mount, they give you the hippogriff and I guess one other flying mount. I haven't gotten it yet, but when you look at it, the broom is just better, especially once fully upgraded, so there's really no reason to ever use anything other than the broom. But it's like, no, they let you fly on a hippogriff just so you can.
Oh yeah, no. As soon as I got the hippogriff, I was like, fuck the broom. I'm using the hippogriff. But like if I know I'm actively gonna go out and do combat, then I'm like, all right, I guess I'll use the broom. But if I can, I'm gonna use the hippogriff because I'm a big hippogriff gal. I love them. I think they're so just cute and precious.
The broom is faster, and really it's the handling. It's the handling that makes you want to use the broom. Plus, you can just quickly get on and off of it. It's really easy to just like hop into combat from your broom and just get right into the middle of it. I mean, and combat has become so fun for me as they become more and more overpowered in the game. I mean, there's still that challenge.
Oh, yeah.
I still got to make sure to replenish my supply of Wiggenweld potions often, and I'm trying to experiment more with the potions and the plants, but mainly I'm just having a blast going into each combat encounter. I'll complete the optional objectives if I can, which encourages me to use some of the spells that I may not normally have equipped. But yeah,
I
there's just a whole flow to it, and it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun, just slinging spells. And I mean, once you have a bunch, you don't even really have to spend a lot of time quick casting, because as soon as one spell is on cooldown, another one opens up, and before you know it, you can re-trigger your unforgivable curses again. I mean, I kind of go into combat straight up with the unforgivable curses and use those, and then I start using some of the other spells.
Yeah, for me, I used a lot of Crucio in my first playthrough. I'm doing another playthrough right now for my stream because we're talking about it, and I was like talking with my followers about it the other day, and they were like, "Yeah, no, you should do that." I was like, "Okay, cool." So I'm doing that, and I'm still gonna play Ravenclaw because I'm a loyal Ravenclaw. I don't give a fuck, Keisha. I mean, I would like to do all the other stuff, but I've seen all the houses and everything, and it's people are playing in other capacities as different houses. So I like to stick to Ravenclaw. Also, there is a cloak that you get that's like your house cloak, and the Ravenclaws is the prettiest. So yeah. Also, can we just talk about fucking Sebastian Sallow?
Yeah, I know you
Why
wanted to
the
talk
fuck?
about him.
Why the fuck is he so suave all the time? Like, if there was an option for romance, can we romance him next game?
Right?
Porky, please, please.
He's a great character, and I really like him. I like him more than the other, friend that they try to set you up with, Natty. He's just like
Yeah.
and he's the key to the unforgivable curses. So I'm trying to really level up his quest line as much as possible, so I can learn those, of course. But honestly,
It's
like,
gonna break your heart. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Your heart's gonna get broken.
yeah, like the thing with his sister and everything, like it's in the dysfunctional family. Like, yeah, no, it's really drawing me in, and I'm really actually enjoying his quest line and seeing, the character progression there. I think in their part 2, we'll kind of get more into the story and the characters. We'll do a little bit of a deeper dive and by then I'll have at least finished the main quest, so I can do that. I'll try to golden path it from here on if I can.
Golden path it.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a term, or at least that's a term I use. Just strictly going through the main quest stuff as much as possible, because I mean, this game makes it really easy to get off the beaten path and just explore, and there's a strong incentive to.
Yeah.
There's just so many.
Yeah, no,
things.
that's absolute fact. You can just go fuck around and do what you want.
Like you're flying around and you see a Merlin trial, and you're like, okay, yeah, let's do a Merlin trial.
Yeah. No kidding. And I like that aspect about the game. I like that it's like, yes, you thought you were going to head over to this quest with Natty, or you were going to head over to this quest with Sebastian. But guess what, motherfucker? You're going to do 3 Merlin trials. You're going to do this, and you're going to do that. You're going to fight some goddamn goblins while you head over there.
And pick up an additional 1 or 2 side quests.
Right. You get some weird looking goggles, because fuck it, it's Hogwarts.
Yeah, I like that they at least allow you to transmog the equipment, which makes sense in the Harry Potter universe, especially because some of that gear looks so damn goofy. I don't know if transmog was a thing day one, but I'm glad that it's here.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because so some of this shit looks so goofy, and I wouldn't want to equip my player with it. In fact, I'm pretty strict about okay, I'm a Hogwarts student. I should be wearing Hogwarts robes.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. I'm a fashionista for sure. I'm like, which one is gonna be? Let's see. We're going out to go with Sebastian. I'm gonna wear this. We're going to a herbology class. I'm gonna wear this. Oh, I'm going to a class. I'm gonna wear this. I'm gonna wear I pick depending on what I'm going to go do. I don't care. I'm going out adventuring. I'm gonna wear that one specific, which you've played as a witch, so you know which one I'm talking about. It's the the tartan pants with the little cloth thing that sits on the hip with the little bustier thing and the shirt. Oh, it's so cute. So cute. Definitely gonna wear that for a cosplay at some point.
Nice. That's fucking awesome. Yeah, no, it's really cool how you get to deck your character out, and if you want to keep the high level equipment and keep the appearance of other equipment that you like better, then you can do that. What's funny is even though I'm sticking to Hogwarts fashion, my character still does look like they still stand out among the student populace because they're all just wearing basic robes. And I mean, I got my character decked out in the coolest looking robes and uniform, the most stylish, with the sorcerer hat and the scarf. So I've gone all out with it.
I don't really wear any of the hats. I'm just they're okay.
I think I might switch to the hood at some point too, because I think the dark the dark wizard look is gonna look cool. If I find some robes that are dark wizard robes, I'm just gonna go for those. and wear those, and that'll be like my rebellion. For right now, I've been repping Slytherin House
Yeah, as you should.
and
Absolutely.
treating everyone else like shit.
It'd be like that. It'd be like that. When
All
you're
the
doing the Dark
characters hate
Wizard
me
kind of shit.
because once I finish their quest and do whatever they want me to do, I'll be like, all right, can I get a reward for it? Or you know what? Because if there isn't an option to get more of a reward, I'll go for the straight up asshole move of nope, I'm gonna keep this.
Damn, okay, so you're the renegade to my Paragon. I'm like, here you go. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I tend to play my first playthrough of games on the good route, but this time, nah, I don't give a fuck. I'm going full dark wizard, and I'm just gonna be evil as fuck and do whatever the fuck I want. And you know, maybe there's a couple people who I'll actually show some loyalty towards, like Sebastian, but that's it.
In light of your unique situation, joining us as a fifth year, we've devised something extraordinary to ensure your success. A lot to absorb on your first day.
Can't believe I'm here. Professor Weasley has asked that your professors give you instruction outside of the ordinary curriculum.
You have much to learn.
You have the benefit of an exceptionally skilled team of witches and wizards to guide you.
A surprised opponent is a weak opponent.
They will test your abilities, both innate and learned.
You've done it! I am wary of how much time the new fifth year seems to be spending away from the castle.
No need for theatrics. I'm only here for this one anyway.
What do they want with a Hogwarts student?
I have a rare ability to see whispers of ancient magic.
Extraordinary.
It's a powerful magic that should only be wielded by a select few.
The path we're on is terribly dangerous. But I do not know where it leads. I'm afraid you're on your own. I've ensured that we have a moment to ourselves.
Let's even her odds, shall we?
We leave our legacy in your hands.
You know who else I love that's a Slytherin, and I feel like he kind of has like the same kind of, I don't want to say narrative, but the same style, like they're the same person but in different font, is Ominous, is very similar to Draco Malfoy.
You think so? Because I'm straight up, I'm like, fuck Ominous. I'm here trying to learn some unforgivable curses, and he's like, no, we can't do that. And I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up.
You can't.
Yeah, such a fucking stick in the mud, dude.
Been splinched.
It's cool though to see, you know, because he's a Gaunt, so he's actually one of Voldemort's ancestors, right?
Right, which is so freaky.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I don't know, I just feel so much for Ominous because you can tell he so very much doesn't want to be part of his family.
Yeah.
And I feel like Malfoy was kind of the same way.
Yeah, I think Malfoy, like in another, I see what you're saying now, because like there were moments throughout the books, especially towards the end, where you saw that hesitation and like, yeah, he wants to impress his father or whatever, but deep down, you know, did he really want to do this? You know, Harry was his rival, but at the same time, it's like, does he really want to do this to him? And he had a good character arc in the books. I really enjoyed where they took his character.
Yeah. And also, I'm just going to say this for the girls, gays, and theys. Yes, in my opinion, Hermione is canon.
Okay.
I feel like they're so much a better match than Ron and fucking Hermione, because Ron
Hot
is
take.
like, he has his moments where he can be smart, but he never applies himself, and Hermione needs somebody that can challenge her, so her and Draco are a perfect fit.
Fair enough.
And
I
yes,
mean,
I read Hermione fanfics. Leave me
Oh,
alone.
no.
There's one actually that's being published this year. It's based on like kind of like a Handmaid's Tale.
Okay.
And it's very, very, very good. It's by Senlin Yu, and the original work, which is no longer on the fanfic platforms, is called Manacled. It's better than like any fucking book I've read in a while. Like, she's like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I was nursing my infant and I crashed my car, but here's this chapter," and you're like sobbing your fucking eyes out. Like, it's ridiculous. So
Wow.
good though.
I can
There's a lot of them out there like that.
I can only imagine the self-insert Sebastian Sallow fanfics you've read.
I haven't actually. I don't know, because they're fifth years, so I feel like they're too young, you know?
Fair enough.
Like, I try to read stuff that's like after Hogwarts, because then I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm comfortable.
That would
I'm
be
at that
kinda-
age
yeah.
where I'm like, I don't trust young academia or anything like that. Like, I don't read like young adult anymore. I just feel icky. I'm like, I'm old now. I can't do that.
It's the same reason why, like, when I'm playing Persona 5 and they give you the option to romance other high schoolers, like your character, or adult women, I'm like, I'm going after the hot goth doctor.
Yes, older women, please.
Because I know my character is a minor, but I'm an adult and I want to romance the adult.
I'm the adult here. Listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be cool if they added romance options in the sequel. I'd like to see that. Obviously, you know, we'll steer on the grounds of, you know, just strictly romantic because they're kids, but
Right, like first love kind of thing. I don't feel like you need that much devotion at the age that they're at. Maybe for like year 7, year 8, you know, that's like high school sweethearts, or even sometimes a little bit older. Is when do they finish? Like, what
So,
age are they when they finish at
they're
Hogwarts?
at 7th year, they're admitted as 17-year-olds. So I would imagine that they graduate as 18-year-olds, unless, you know, you have a summer birthday like
Yeah.
like Harry. Um,
Yeah.
but in the Wizarding world, 17 is considered
Year
an
7?
adult. So I guess that's
Yeah.
probably their age of consent. But I remember that the last couple Harry Potter books is where they started getting into some of that like teenage romance, and you know,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
and you started feeling, you know, that like hormonal tension that we all identified with at that age.
No, for real though. For real though. And that's why I'm like, I wouldn't be opposed to romance if it was like 7 or 8 year. But also I feel like it would need to be an expansion of this character. I kind of like the fact that we're brought in as a 5th year for Hogwarts Legacy, because you're not starting at the bottom and like, why does this kid have so much power? It's literally a rip off of Harry Potter. You're kind of at a little bit later stage, and it's like, okay, this could make sense, you know?
Yeah, and this character also has like this like ancient magic thing that's going on, that they're one of the only ones that can observe and harness this ancient magic. Obviously, they are, you know, kind of a Mary Sue type, you know, superpower, you know, Rey from Star Wars kind, you know, that just sort of masters things immediately. But it's like, well, you're a 5th year, so in a sense, you're also playing catch up at the same time. So it does sort of work.
Right. Yeah. No, I feel like they match that pretty well.
It's interesting too, because based on what the character says, you assume that they came from a magical family. So they're not a Muggle born. They're either a pureblood or a half blood, because they seem to have grown up in the Wizarding world. But I guess their family thought they were a squib up to now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's just because of the ancient magic that they manifested a little bit later.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
And I
So
think
yeah,
that
it's
they're not the only character that happened to, right? They mentioned some of the characters in the flashbacks also awakened as 5th years.
yeah. So they were assumed that they were squibs, because normally in Madge-born children, it's like the age of 5 or 6. I think it's 6.
They're gonna
is
have
when they
some
start exhibiting
indication.
Yeah. Yeah. But then it kind of goes to a point where it's like, okay, well, it's been a while. Like, our kid's a teenager. Like, clearly they're not gonna, you know, they're a squib, and it happens. You know, there's like evidence of that in like the books and everything. But it kind of leads up to 5th year, and then it's like, okay, well, all of a sudden my kid can fucking perform magic. What was that conversation like with the parents? Like, all of a
Right.
sudden you can fucking. Also, why can our student hold a secondhand wand and why are secondhand wands not more utilized? Because like from what I understand, you have to have a wand made for you and you can't just use any random wand because that was the whole struggle
You
during the later half of the Harry Potter series.
you can use a secondhand wand, but you'll never reach your fullest potential. And you may or may not have compatibility with that wand. That's the other thing, is the wand may work better or worse for you depending on your affinity with the wand core and everything. Um, and so there's just you're gonna have a mixed bag of effects. But they do mention earlier on that, I think Professor Fig makes some comment like, you actually seem to do pretty well for working with a secondhand wand. And that's just a testament to
Yeah.
the protagonist's magical ability, is that they're able to pick things up quickly and they seem to be able to work pretty
Right.
well. And then once they get their own wand, it's like, wow, yeah, no, the sky's the limit, right? And I really like that we have
Exactly.
this one character, because it makes sense that you're going to have that one rare character who can become extremely powerful and learn all these advanced spells. And I guess if anything, something that would be cool is to have a little bit more a variation in with that, and like a little bit more of the game recognizing like what areas that you seem to do better in. Like, is my character better at spell casting or potions or herbology? I mean, they do kind of have those
Right.
talent trees, the sort of that
Aid in that.
right, that correspond to those various areas, but mainly those are just specific upgrades and perks that you can pick up. It would be cool if maybe they even kind of made it a little bit more Skyrim-esque, where you can have more or less proficiency in these areas and utilizing those specific areas
Houses and stuff.
would increase your proficiency, and maybe have characters that might comment on that, like, wow, you're quite the skilled herbologist, or you're quite good at making potions. But it kind of just feels like your character is just like a master at everything, and then you can choose to upgrade those skills even further at your discretion.
Yeah, because like I feel like if it also should like your house should be a little bit more important, especially because you are a Hogwarts student.
Yeah.
I would love to see more of like a, hey, you're a Hufflepuff. So obviously you're going to have a little bit more experience with plants. And I know like you can make comments like that to like NPCs in the game, but you should have a little bit more affinity and use that more in combat. Or if you're a Ravenclaw, you're going to have a little bit more book smart. So you're going to be a
Or
little bit better at
specific
puzzles.
dialogue choices that are tailored, that it's like only a Ravenclaw can make this kind
Yeah.
of smart response, or you know what I mean, like there could be specific dialogue
Right.
choices that could help you get through things more quickly, like in persuade characters or extort them in order to get clear through a quest easier or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that would be super cool. And I think also because there's been such a, I feel like it's been mixed just because of the J.K. Rowling stuff at first, but since then, I feel like this game has kind of soared above, and it's been one of those ones that people kind of pick up after a while, and it's something that's replayable. I feel like the game had a great success. And I feel like it's a good game, so I'm really hoping that they're able to give these types of elements that we've been talking about into the next game. I would love to see that. I would love to watch that kind of come to fruition, especially for people that really love the first game. I would love to see it kind of just like pull like a Breath of the Wild, right?
Yeah.
Like Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom. It's a significant upgrade, but it's still in that same like flow. I wouldn't say font, but it's still that same
Yeah.
flow.
Yeah, I don't think that Hogwarts Legacy 2 needs to do a whole lot more to the game. I think it should be one of those, like you said, Tears of the Kingdom or God of War Ragnarok or Spider-Man 2 types, where it's like, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just take what you did with this and improve on it. Give us more. Give us more spells to do. Give us more world to explore. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the next game could just take place in the adult wizarding world or something. Or in a
That would be so cool.
right? Or the same map, but in a completely different time period. Obviously, they're going to have to do something in order to distinct it and not just redo the same game world, right?
Yeah, no, I feel like it would be cool to do a different time period. I would love to see like what the Ministry of Magic is like, because they talk about so much of Harry's career as like an Auror and all of that, in the later books. I would love to see that. I would love to see what the Ministry of Magic is like. Like, oh, here, well, this is a normal day of an Aura. This is the normal day of, the Minister of Magic, or, somebody at the Wizengamot. I would love to see that. Or even I think it would be so fucking cool. I know that we are, actively at Hogwarts. Everything about Harry Potter is based at Hogwarts. I know that the first game needed to be at Hogwarts. I would love to see Wugadoo. I would love to see all the other schools too, and see
Yeah.
like the one that's in America, the one that's in Germany, like see where Victor Crumb, like maybe his ancestors or something like that, or
Bulgaria.
Fleur Delacour's. Yeah, Bulgaria, like France. That would be so fucking cool. And see
Yeah.
how their wizarding laws are different because they're a different country and they have a different wizarding school.
Yeah, the Fantastic Beasts films got us to see a little bit more of the American wizarding world, which was cool. But yeah, it would be it would be nice to look and see, France or Bulgaria, because we only got those little bit of glimpses in the Goblet of Fire. So yeah, I mean, they could go in a lot of different directions with the sequel if they do continue down the same path and it's the same character, but moving into their 6th year, we could start getting into stuff like apparating lessons and have the character be able to apparate around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get splinched if they do it wrong and the wrong combination and you get splinched.
Right? I would say that we could have it where the plot actually takes the character like outside of Hogwarts and they end up, not having to complete their school year or something, but they could still return to the castle to do what they need to do, but it's kind of like book 7 where it's just like it's all outside because they got to do something else with the game map, right? So that would be really interesting, and that might factor into the gameplay mechanic I mentioned earlier, where it's like you could be out in the world and hey, you commit a crime, too many crimes, and some of the auras are going to come after you. Like there could be kind of like an agreement, like okay, this student is on a quest, and so they're allowed some leeway because they need to get this done, but and the ministry has some kind of an agreement with them, but. It's like, okay, if you're doing too much stuff, yeah, some guys are going to come after you and try to capture you and you're going to have to fight them off. And so that there's some consequences. Or maybe whenever you go to other worlds, their wizarding governments aren't too happy with what you're doing and they start coming after you. Yeah, they really should expand the world and go to different places and have your character interact. That would be cool.
Yeah, I feel like they have the opportunity to do I don't want to say like the same vein as Assassin's Creed, but like do like the wizarding version of that. Like you can go so many different time periods, so many different places.
True.
and drop yourself in and be like, this is what Wugadoo is like in this time. Like, yeah, like granted, I think the most interesting one would be, and I feel like this may be controversial of me to say, but I would love to see one. I would be cool with returning to Hogwarts for the second game and doing like during wartime. Like, what was World War II like? Or
okay.
like the Hogwarts students, how was that? There's bombings, how is the school protected? How are the children learning? Like
Good point.
how are things going during wartime? Because there's a wizarding war, but it's not coinciding with the actual war that happened, during that time period. Or hey, what is it like during this dynasty in China at this wizarding school when it's established? Like you're some of the first students to attend there. What's
Yeah.
Wugadoo like in Africa during World War II? Because you have the Tuskegee Airmen, you have all that stuff going on, you have all the World War II stuff going on in Africa too, and or down in the Pacific. There's so much that you could do. There's a lot of time periods. I would love to. I'm a little bit biased here on the World War II thing because my grandfather, was a World War II veteran. But I would love to see what that would be like. I just think that would be the most interesting narrative to be able to bring real history in that time into the Harry Potter world and kind of run with that narrative and see what it would be like. Like, are year 7s automatically drafted into the military? Like, what is that like? I think that would be so freaking cool.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. No, it would be really interesting to see, the wizarding world during different eras of human history. And yeah, I mean, it's cool enough that we got to experience this period of time, which is this is set during like the 1800s, I think.
Yeah, like 1880s.
Yeah, and they mentioned some of the items mentioned like Victorian fashion and whatnot. So it's just really fun being able to explore Hogwarts during this time period and the surrounding world. I mean, it's so much bigger than just Hogwarts. It's a pretty big world, and there's plenty to do. It's not empty. There's always something around every corner, and you'll find yourself. I thought that I'd run into the issue where I just collect way too many materials. but you know, I'm still finding myself having to go out and like get like Horklump juice so I can make more Wicked Well potions. Of course, with everything that you can grow, I've got it down because I've got you know, like 2 large or no, I've got three different potting tables of one of each size, and I've got 2 different potion stands, so I've constantly got that shit going. I got the random potion generator and the random ingredient generator and like everything, and so that every time I go to the room of requirement, it's like a whole there's a whole routine.
You're just being a little farmer and collecting all your little plants.
Yeah, and caring for my magical beasts. I mean, that's a whole aspect of this game. You kind of almost have like a Pokemon aspect.
A little bit, yeah, and that's one of my favorite aspects of the game. Like, I remember my first playthrough when I made a baby baby hippogriff for the first time. I'm not going to mention the other one because you said you haven't gotten there yet. But there is another creature that is magical that you can get a baby, and it's very fucking cute. And I'm
I'm breeding
so much.
Thestrals together for the first time.
Okay. So the baby Thestrals are so fucking cute. Oh my God, I love them so much. They're my favorite thing ever. I love Thestrals. I think they're just cute little. I know that you're only seeing them like whenever you've experienced near death. Or you've witnessed death.
Yeah.
But,
did you notice how in the beginning the carriage takes off and you don't see the Thestrals? But in my mind, I'm like, okay, Thestrals are driving that carriage, and then you witness George's death, and your character can see them now.
Yeah, and they kind of apparate. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
That was a nice touch.
You know what would be so freaking cool? Because we had a Triwizard tournament during Harry's time. The Triwizard tournament happens all the time.
Yes, I was going to mention that earlier, and I forgot. I was thinking about other things they could do in the next game. They could do a fucking Triwizard tournament and have that set at another school.
How sick would that be?
Right?
That could be the students' year 6.
Yeah.
They're year 6, they're getting used to their ancient powers still, and then they get picked for the Goblet of Fire. Like,
that would be badass. I was thinking about that too.
How
like,
cool!
Why not set a Triwizard tournament? And yeah, get to see one of these old Triwizard tournaments where like students could actually die during them.
Yeah. When it wasn't just like not like my boy, but like an actual Triwizard tournament, and like that's like part of your year, and you're learning. They're just playing the music over his dead body. Sorry.
I was watching through the movies recently. Actually, I was prep. I'm up to Half-Blood Prince now. I need to watch just the last 2 Deathly Hallows films. But yeah.
Yeah, I saw you were watching those, and I was like, "Are you gonna review Harry Potter?" And you didn't fucking tell me, Ash.
No, that was prep for this episode.
Got to get in all the Harry Potter.
We did cover Prisoner of Azkaban on Collateral Cinema a few seasons ago, and I always thought I'd like to do Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2 later.
You know, it would be a really cool gateway into like a different part of the podcast to do like the Harry Potter series as like a gateway into like a book side of the podcast. I feel like that would be really fun, like a book podcast and talk about Harry Potter and then kind of go into like book talk and all that. Sorry, that's just my mind wandering a little bit. I'm in a very imaginative mood.
I've always thought about, branching out and like doing a music show, doing a TV show. I think that's next. Collateral Records was at one point in the works, but since we're not really working with the people that were going to be involved in that anymore, it just it's a later thing. Like I said, I think the next thing would be a TV podcast, but I've also thought about doing a book podcast, Collateral Literature or something. I don't know.
But you know what? I kind of love that because then I could do smut episodes and call them Cliterature.
Oh, amazing! I've thought about doing porn parodies on the movie podcast or porn games on the video game podcast. It's just like a funny episode and just like release it on Pornhub or something.
Oh my God! Stop.
That like just reviewing porn games.
Fuck it, we ball. Love and Deep Space. Let's go.
But I guess we'll save our future discussion of Hogwarts Legacy for part 2. I'll do my best to complete the main quest by that time so that we can get into all of the spoilers regarding the story, and it is a pretty good plot so far. I'm digging it.
You're gonna love it. Like I love the way that we played through the entire game. I loved all of the. I know we didn't get. We're talking a lot about the sequel because that was announced at the end of last year. I think at the end of 2024, maybe even earlier. Maybe it was mid-year. But that's something that we're very excited about. And
Yeah.
Ash and I are both Hogwarts fans, so we're kind of just theorizing about a lot of ththings of what it could be, just because we do love everything about Harry Potter except for J.K. Like, I'm sorry, I don't love her anymore. I like her brain, but not her
No, yeah, straight up fuck
views.
J.K. Rowling. I think at one point I was kind of defending it, like, I don't think she's actually a trans. No, fuck J.K. Rowling. Straight up, fuck her.
Yeah.
Disappointment, because I really looked up to her as a writer. And like I said, I mean, for what it's worth,
As a kid, too.
she's an intelligent person, and she's been able to craft this world, and that I really love. And I've always said we could do more in that world. We don't need to do a sequel where we follow Harry Potter's children. It's the last thing we needed. No, explore this entire wizarding world that you've set up. That being said,
Right.
I haven't even watched the last Fantastic Beasts film. How sad is that?
Oh wow, yeah, no, I watched it just because I like Eddie Redmayne. He's an incredible actor. I
Yeah.
think he's just one of the greats. So that's why I was like, I'll watch it for Eddie because he's just Mr. Precious.
For what it's worth, this game sort of reinvigorated my love for Harry Potter, which I was starting to feel Dwayne. I mean, the whole thing just kind of felt tainted. And and there's even some discussion as to whether or not, the certain things that were written in the books or character names might say this or that or have some racial prejudices. And I don't know about all that, but I always really have loved these books. They were my favorite books growing up. I was at one point obsessed with Harry Potter. That was my autistic hyperfixation. And it was really sad that I'd sort of almost lost my love for this and had lost sight of it. I'd planned to reread the books for years and just kind of lost interest in doing that. But now, like, this game is sort of, it's like I said, it lit up that spark again, and it's really good. And, kudos to the developers for doing a good job with this. And being inclusive while they're doing it. You can tell that these are people who love the source material, but don't have these weird agendas to push or these hills that they want to die on.
Yeah, no, and that's something that I also wanted to mention as well is I am living for the fact that this game for a lot of people I feel like has awakened their sense of childhood and lets them have that imaginative, like, get that sense to connect with their inner child again. That's so important, and that's something that I feel like a lot of us kind of miss doing. Like, just because you're an adult doesn't mean you don't get to have fun, doesn't mean you don't get to go out and yell and laugh and have these fun experiences or play games that were tied to your childhood.
Yeah. I know trans people who love this game and have been enjoying it. So
Yeah.
I feel that if any of our listeners are trans, that we stand with you. And I'll post links in the show notes, resources, mental health resources for people that are trans or non-binary identities.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, regardless of who or how you choose to be on this planet, we're all the same species, right? We're all humans. We're all Homo sapiens, right? I am going to love people regardless of what they look like, who they are as a person. It's along that line of give the same respect to the CEO as you would the janitor, or the vice versa, to the janitor as you would the CEO. Always treat people with kindness and respect. You never know what they're going through, and you never know why their life has led to the reason why they are that way. And also, there is nothing you can do to change somebody else's mind, right? Like, there isn't. Let's be so for real. Like, you can give them advice, you could advise them not to do something, you could say, hey, this is a great decision, hey, this is a not so great decision, I wouldn't recommend it, but they're still going to do it regardless of what you advise them to do. So I just don't understand sometimes, and I guess this is just the optimist in me, why people feel so called to talk about how other people live their lives. It's not your life. It's not your person. It's not affecting you. So why do you feel the need to throw so many stones at someone for that? Like, just let people live their lives, live your life, and No one's going to tell you what to do, so why are you trying to tell other people what to do? Just live your life and exude with grace and love and happiness, and I guarantee better things will come out for you. Wow, that got really deep really quick. But it just, it's one of those things where I'm just that's something that I am very I will stand on business for that. I don't care if you're transgender, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I just mean like, to me, if you're my friend and you're transgender, you're my friend, and you happen to be transgender. That doesn't that says nothing to me about the person of who you are inside, because I guarantee the person inside has a heart of gold.
Yeah. I mean, I've known trans people that were really, really fucking awesome people that I'm happy to call my friends. And I've known trans people that are pieces of shit. So, it's a thing. It's like, no matter who you are, you have the opportunity to be a good or a bad person. I don't even necessarily believe in good or bad people, but you have the opportunity to help those around you or harm them. And we all have that within us. And I judge everybody by the same standards. You're a person, and I will respect you, and I'll call you whatever you want to be called, whatever. I want you to be happy as somebody that I care about, or even somebody I don't care about, it, because it costs nothing to humor someone and to make them happy, even if you don't necessarily agree with it. And I agree with it, and I celebrate our trans listeners and anybody who has been marginalized. And yeah, we're a podcast with open arms, and we hope that nobody was offended by us reviewing this game. Like I said, it's just, we did really enjoy it, and we felt that, again, in a system where ethical consumption does not exist, we're drawing the line here and saying, yeah, okay, some royalties are going to go to somebody that's a piece of shit, but that's true about every game you buy. It's just whether or not you know about it.
Exactly. And it's also like, a lot of the money is going to go to the developers, right? Because a lot of it is to Portkey Games, and they've created they're starting to carve out their own bit of stone to where they can get further and further away from JK's reach. They're going to be able to carve out and be like, well, you may have written the books and you may have had the movies, but guess what? Our players, they want this and this and this, and we're going to give that to them. They're going to start to have a foot to stand on.
And I think it's telling that JK Rowling has, to my knowledge, never even acknowledged this game publicly. I don't think she's ever said anything about it or promoted it or marketed it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember that being like a point of discussion when the game came out, was that like we didn't see anything from her about it. So, we'll have more to say in part 2, and we'll be able to get into, like I said, the main plot, the various characters. And I'm really excited. I've been enjoying this game a lot so far. Megan, is there anything that you wish to plug as far as your streaming? I know you said you've been streaming this game.
Yeah, so I'm streaming this currently. I will probably be streaming it for a little bit. I've been kind of trying to create a schedule. I have been playing a lot of Starship Troopers. Actually, that is something I wanted to talk about and acknowledge publicly on stream. So I was able to play with General Rico, Casper Van Dien himself. He does stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you're able to join the queue to be able to play with General Rico himself, which I feel like is such a big thing. There's a lot of celebrities who are gamers, and yet they don't utilize that. And he's just the kindest, sweetest human. And he actually rated my stream and sent all his followers my way, which is so cool. And I just shout out to Casper Van Dien. Shout out to all the mods. I love all of you guys. Y'all are all so awesome. I can't wait until Casper comes back from C2E2 so we can play again. I've been playing with some of his mods and talking to some of his mods. Everybody's just been so sweet and so generous and awesome. I love it so much, and I talk about the podcast as well, as much as I can. I talk about it on stream all the time. I always shout out the podcast on stream. I'm like, hey, if you like me here, I go into a lot more shit on the podcast that I'm on where I talk about video games. So come check me out. But if you are interested in ever watching me stream, or you just want to see me play something, I am at Mirrors Effect on Twitch. I am working towards getting it on TikTok, but I don't have 1,000 followers yet. I'm just a wee little TikTok user. So please follow me on Twitch. I would love to build my community there a little bit more and get into more things to where I can have, streaming Saturdays like Ash so famously does with Call of Duty, because I'm just not at that point yet, and I want to be. I want to have something like that. And also shout out to the Starship Troopers community. Again, I love everybody. We have such a fun time playing, and Yeah, Lady Demo is here at her podcast just shouting everybody out. So yeah, that's it from Lady Demo.
Nice. Hell yeah. Yeah, speaking of the Let's Play content, I did finally, for the first time in over a month, get a Collateral Let's Play Call of Duty Saturday out today. So go check out, Robert and I actually went old school. We took a break from Black Ops 6 and we did Black Ops 1 Zombies, one of the OG maps, Kino der Toten. So go check that out on YouTube. It's on the Collateral Gaming YouTube channel as well as the Collateral Cinema YouTube channel. As far as Collateral Cinema goes, we've also been behind schedule like we have with Collateral Gaming, but we're just finally getting caught up. We got out ahead of our planned episode, which was Ghost in the Shell. That was supposed to conclude Anime Month. The episode's done. We're just trying to get all the files ready so that we can edit it. But ahead of that, we went ahead and dropped our California Kid episode. So go check that out. We'll get Ghost in the Shell as soon as possible. And then our next planned numbered episode was the Doctor Who 50th anniversary special, The Day of the Doctor. And probably before that, we'll have out our 420 special, which is going to be Reefer Madness. And I'm really excited to get super, super stoned with Bo and Robert and do that. And speaking of 420, we will have our 420 special out on Katamari Damacy. Total stoner game, and I'm really excited to revisit that game from my childhood and get super baked while we're doing it. And we'll have some kind of 420 special for the Let's Play as well if we don't end up merging it and making it the same thing. And some 420 bonus rounds. So look forward to that this month. Hogwarts Legacy was, I think, technically our February episode. So as soon as we wrap up part 2, we're going to go ahead and skip to our April content, which is going to be the 420 special and our bad games, because it is Bad Game April. So hopefully by the end of the month, we should get out both our episode on Bubsy 3D and Hong Kong 97.
You know what? For your 420 next year, you should do the game that's been going viral recently. Is it Schedule?
I don't know. I haven't heard of it.
The one where you're like growing weed and making pills and stuff, and you're a dealer and you're selling them. Like Queso is playing it and stuff.
I still need something to do for the 420 Let's Play and for the 420 bonus rounds. So
look it up and I'll send it to you. Y'all should do that.
That might be a good idea. We'll look into that. So yeah, stick around for the 420 and Bad Game April content. We'll have Hogwarts Legacy Part 2 out as soon as possible. I'll juggernaut through the game and get with Megan to get Part 2 out very soon. Also, Assassin's Creed Shadows. I think here this next week I was planning to go ahead and get the episode on that solo if I need to. I think my guest host, Ian, he was gonna be on, but there was another game that launched in March or April that he was just a lot more excited about. So I'm not sure if I will have him for that or not. So we'll see. But yeah, I will get out an Assassin's Creed Shadows episode one way or the other here. That's what I plan to get out here by this next week. Hogwarts Part 2 and Assassin's Creed Shadows, so we can move on to our actual April content.
Heck yeah.
And then we'll finish the rest of the season from there. We have our planned March content, which was Bushido Blade. I know I also wanted to do Danganronpa. I think that I may have shifted that to next season, actually, so that we can do our season finale on the Switch 2 launch in June.
Okay.
So, yeah. We're also Fallout, which was going to be our season finale, I think will now be our season premiere in September, Fallout 4.
Let's do it.
But, yeah, guys, that's what we have planned. And stick around for more very soon. And I guess that's it. Did you have anything to add, Megan?
No, I think that's it. We'll see you next episode.
Hell yeah. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. I'll have links in the show notes as well as our social media. And with all that being said, I've been Ashley Chancellor.
And I've been Megan Gomez.
This was Collateral Gaming, and we'll see you in part 2. Mischief managed.
Oh.
Collateral Gaming is a Collateral Media podcast. All music and game clips are owned by their respective creators and are used for educational purposes only. Please don't sue us. We're poor.